Alright everyone, let's see texturing the airplane. Now, texturing is, we have, first of all, every model has its own UV map, alright? So, or every geometry has its own UV map. Now, in order to understand what the UV map is, which is in fact the same thing as the ST coordinates, is you have actually to for every geometry. I mean, if you already watched the OpenGL tutorial, like about the talking about the texturing part, the ST coordinates, everything is actually working the same thing here. If I go to the main thing, I have to be in the polygons, and let me hit Ctrl S on that just to make sure that I'm not gonna lose anything. I'm gonna go for create UVs or edit UVs and UV texture editor. When I bring it up, this is actually the UV map of a cube. Alright, so basically what you see is a small cube that's already flattened out to a 2D space. If you really cannot imagine this, let me delete this one. If I say this is our Earth, this is actually the globe. Our Earth is usually round, but usually when you hold the maps in your hand, you hold it actually in 2D. I mean, you get just a piece of paper, and then you look at the world map like a 2D space. This is the exactly same thing here. What we are doing, what is exactly scientists done with the let's say Earth map? They just simply unfolded Earth from being like in a circular spherical way. They just simply unfolded to a 2D map. So at the end you get some sort of, instead of a spherical map, you get just simple a white big paper in the center that you, white big paper in your hands that you just begin looking at it. So this is the basic idea about the UV mapping. It's just simply you grab an object like whatever, like an airplane or something like that, or a car if you will, and then you have to flatten out the map to make it in 2D so you can edit in Photoshop, and then you wrap it around it back again onto the object. And it is actually quite easy process in case you have some certain if you have simple objects, like say like these. In fact, the workflow which you're gonna see here is almost the same, but for some it's going to be a little bit different. For example, for cars it's going to be different, for a building it's going to be probably a little bit different. In our airplane we're going to have several techniques in fact to cover in texturing. Let's say, if you see here, we have in fact several UV mapping automatically available for us. One is automatic mapping, which is going to create several planes that are going to be mapping the that's gonna unfold this 3D geometry into 2D kind of map, so we can actually start sticking pictures on it. There's a planar mapping, which is gonna be making a single plane. We're gonna use that in fact on the wings. There's a spherical mapping, which is gonna have, if you have something like a planet or Earth kind of, any spherical object, then you're gonna have to make a spherical mapping. A cylindrical mapping is the same as this one. You see, it's more like a cylinder, isn't it? It has the same shape as a cylinder. We need just only to unfold it. Okay, so right now I'm going to create a cylindrical mapping, and I will go for the option box, and I'm just going to hit project. Now apparently the cylindrical mapping is somehow wrapping up around this one. I want it actually to rotate it. Let's see what we can do about this. Okay, in fact I can move it. Okay, I cannot. Let me undo this. Let me go and see the UV. No, hold on. Okay, let me try to see UV texture editor. This is actually our plane, how it looks like. You see how the UV map looks like? Now I have to actually make a cylinder that goes around this thing. So let me see here. I'll choose cylindrical mapping again. There was some sort of a gizmo here. Here you go. That's what I was searching for. The T. So when I select the letter T here, right now I get the transform node, or transformation of the cylindrical mapping. Now I would love to rotate this exactly like, let me close this thing. This is going to be rotated 90 degrees. Exactly. Absolutely. Now we're going to get this, click on this transform again. Let me try to scale it up like so, to encompass the whole object, if you will. Okay, and if you go to the UV texture editor, you see this is my airplane here, and I have to wrap around it completely, like so. Probably I'm gonna scale it down. Hold on a second. Let me try to select. Where is my T? I mean, not the tea which you drink, the letter T. There we go. Let me try to scale this cylindrical mapping, if I could, down a little bit, and grab the T again and try to fill it up. So right now I'm encompassing the whole airplane, if you will. I'll move this, let's say, here. So, okay. Please make sure that everything snaps into this one-to-one, alright? One-to-one area. Okay, let's hope that... Let me try to see from the top view. There we go. Right now it's almost perfect. Okay, so we got this UV map of our airplane. Now, if I deselect this, if I go to object mode, if you select this, you see this is your actually airplane. In fact, if I go and select UVs, hold on a second, this is probably of the airplane, so right click and select UVs. You select pieces of them, you can control right click and to shell, and then hit W, and then you can actually move it here. Now, what we have to do, in fact, right now we have, in fact, to try to make it map correctly. Now, I could go and here's the small trick right now. Let me try to see. I have a checker already. Great. Now, let me try to copy this. I have it somewhere in. Hold on a second. I'm trying to navigate in my documents, projects. Pursue project, and I'm gonna put in the source images here. I'm gonna actually paste the checker. Now I'm gonna need this checkerboard, which you see right now, in order to map my texture accordingly. Now, in order to do that, since I have this UV is already done, let me go and see how it does look like. So I'll go to Window, Hypershade, so Rendering Editor's Hypershade. Give it a second to boot up. Okay, great, we have it. Now, I'm gonna grab a Lambert, and I'm going to grab a file node. Okay, now I'm gonna grab, this is actually the mapper, or whatever it says, the placement to the node, and this is the file, and this is my material. Now, we have to fill in from the file into the material, and then the material applies to the object. So double click on the file and try to find, here you go, once I double click on the file node, I have to navigate for the image name, and I'm gonna grab the checker and I'm gonna hit open. Now I'm gonna middle click and drag to my Lambert here and choose the color. Okay, now once I do that, I'm gonna actually grab my Lambert 2, rename it to debugging. Now there's a very important thing, if you didn't notice yet, I didn't touch this one. You never touch it. Actually, this Lambert is the default material that applies to any object you create. So if you modify this, any object that comes out, it will grab this Lambert 1. So whatever you're gonna create, whatever you're gonna do, please create a separate separate material for it. Alright, now I'm gonna grab this one, I will, once I selected the object which I want to apply to, right click and assign material to selection. And once I have done that, I get some sort of a brighter color for my object, which means that it has a texture on. So I'm gonna hit 6 in order to show the textures, and apparently it texture mapped quite nicely, although it's a little bit stretched on the bottom here, which I don't know why, but we're gonna see. Alright, so I'm gonna go to my UV texture editor, and I have to make sure, let me turn off this checkerboard from the scene so I can see my UVs by clicking on that switch. UVs, alright, let's see what we can do here. So first of all, we have really to try to make this as squares as possible, so it has to be like squared. Alright, okay, let me try to minimize this. Okay, this is more like a square to me. Okay, I will scale this down to fit it in, like so. Move up. Now for these guys, somehow they are quite close to each other. So let me see what happens if I scale them up. Let's see what's going to happen in here. Right now what I'm doing is called UV unfolding. So there are zillions of tools that are used for unfolding UVs, guys, and trust me, and some of them are free, some of them are not. There are a lot of techniques in unfolding UVs. I mean, there are whole courses actually in UV mapping. If you, I don't know if you are interested in, but this is but the main thing is here, you have to know there are already texture artists who are their jobs is just only painting textures over your UV maps. So in general, as a modeler, you have to make a really good quad object, and then you have to make a good UV maps, and then give it out to your colleague or whoever is in fact working with you. Let me try to select this face and see who is this one. Ah, this one. Okay, let me go to UVs. Let me control click to UV. So right now I have this one. So this is actually this guy. Let me see, what if I... In fact, he's a little bit positioned in a very, very awkward way. So if I scale him down, he spoils the whole thing. Although it's not visible, I mean, anyway, if I'm gonna paint on the plane, I'm gonna paint in here. But I'm not quite satisfied with this thing, so let me see. Let me first try to make this as square as possible. So let me try to grab the UVs of these guys especially, try to make them as square as possible. And then later on I'm going to scale them down again. And everything has to be almost in the same size, alright? So I have to, this is going to be a little bit hectic right now. Anyway, this actually will not affect you if you are making a solid color, if you will. So you have to make some sort of a UV map, and then you have to make some sort of a solid color if you're going to have some sort of a solid texture or something like a continuous texture. Alright, so this is my airplane. In fact, I'm gonna, to be honest, since I don't want really to get I mean, how can I say, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, you know, fixing, unfolding these UVs. Let me see something here first. Okay, this one I wanted to make sure of. Now I'm gonna actually grab all the UVs in here, scale them down to fit into this one tool on screen. So a little bit more, and I'll move it up. There we go. A little bit, just a tad. I'm actually trying to use every bit here of whatever I have. Okay, great, great. It fits in exactly. Let me just push this up a little bit. I will just ignore simply this face because it's not going to be visible at all based on our project. Let's see. So this is the actual UV map of our airplane body. And since we have this, let me grab this back and grab this back. Now let's see for the wings. If you want to, let me close this. You see the wings? How do they look like? It's really funny. Now I'm gonna actually grab these wings. What I would love to do is let's see. I'm gonna make I could make actually automatic mapping and then sew everything up, but I will actually won't do that. I will just simply grab click this, double click right now, and then immediately we'll grab all the contiguous faces. I'll even control click these guys and control click these guys. Now this we're gonna apply to it the planar mapping. So I'm gonna grab my UV texture editor just to see what's happening live. So I hope this is inside the recording screen. So create UV's planar mapping. Now let's see. Now first of all, these faces are facing the Y direction. I mean the Y axis, the lay in the Y axis. Alright, so you have to make sure when you're gonna make projecting from the Y axis, because it's gonna shoot a laser beam, some sort of laser beam, like from the top to whatever selected object it meets. So I selected only these faces because first of all I would love to map this and this together. Alright, and I'm gonna hit project. Once I do that, I get my wings are projected here, and as you can see I got almost the same shape, but looking to this, it's not exactly the same shape which I have. So I'm just scaling it up based on my knowledge to my model which I modeled. Alright, so I'm gonna grab this like this. This is what you see, is the rest is whatever is left off. You see how when I selected only these ones is whatever left off which is unmapped yet. So I'm gonna map that later. Hold on a second. Let me grab this and to shell. Let me try first to select this one. Select this object first. Go to Window, Rendering Editors, Hypershade. I'm gonna use the exact same material. Just give it a second to load. And I'm gonna assign material to selected object. Let me minimize this. So this is exactly my checkerboard here. As you can see here, nothing is mapped correctly. I mean, there's nothing, whereas it should be somewhere here, crammed up. It's even not there. So anyway, I have right now to make this as square as possible. To shell, in fact this is to UVs, to shell now, control click this one. Oh man, hold on a second, UVs to shell. Okay. Now I'm gonna minimize this a little bit to fit it inside my square. I'm gonna scale this up, so right now it's much more squarish, isn't it? Now there's a square material in Maya which is provided to you. To be honest, I'm not using it because it's not that quite sharp. I mean, you see how sharp it is, the lines. In fact, in the Maya which is provided, is quite fuzzy on the sides, which not quite comfortable working with when I'm texture mapping, doing a texture map. Okay, scale this down, try to position it to fit it in exactly in here. Exactly. Okay, good. Ditto. Now what I'm gonna do is try to grab these faces, so shift right click and boom, we got that one. We got this row. Now I have actually to select all this as well, so let's hope I go like this. Okay, you know what, I'm gonna select everything and deselect only the top ones. So I'm gonna, let me try to minimize this, hit F, and control click and drag the whole thing. Right now I deselected the top and the bottom, and let's hope that I didn't select any unwanted faces, and apparently I lost this one too. Okay, and in fact I actually don't need these ones, I need only the sides, so I'm gonna click and drag, control click by the way. Oh, hold on. There we go. So we got only the front ones. That's what I need. Now why I need only the front ones? Because here's why. Because I am trying to map these parts, the front and the back. Alright? And once I map them for any kind of reason, and in fact I could even not map them, I could just only select these faces and assign to them some sort of a solid material. In case that you wanted to draw some sort of signs here, you can actually do that right now on this airplane. You see these signs, and if you don't know it yet, if you didn't notice it yet, I already overlapped those UVs. Alright, but anyway, let me first map this. Okay, normals, no, excuse me, create texture, planar mapping, and map it from these faces are lying on the x-axis, and project, and you see I got the projection here. If I go to my UV maps, you see I got this kind of awkward looking shape, like for my UVs, and you can see I got already begin to see my my checkerboard since I applied it to it. Let me try to scale this. You see it's right now it has to be, we have to work actually on this one. But anyway, since this is in our case, in this case at least, the airplane is more like, let me get this to the path. These parts of the airplanes are never been painted, so I don't think that it's gonna be necessary actually to map them out. It's really quite, it's quite useless, from my point of view. So I'm gonna actually undo all this, because it's gonna really expand the time of the videos to a really long time, which I really don't want to. And I'm just gonna keep it simple. Let me grab this. Oh, sorry. Grab this UV. This is actually my wings, and this is my UVs for this little guy. I'm just grab them. I'm gonna scale them down, way down. There we go. Double down. You see, somehow it has a really quite awkward or strange kind of behavior. Huh. Amazing. Anyway, it's even not mapped, and it's behaving like it's being mapped. But anyway, doesn't matter. So we got our airplane. Let me, before I forget, grab this, move it right here. Now, if you didn't notice it yet, if you would love to, you can do like this. Grab these faces and control click here to UV, and control click to shell, and W to move. Now this part is separate from that part. You see, this part, when I try to move, to shell, when I try to move, it moves, but this part, it doesn't. You see? And this is because right now what you see is what I have done before, like this one, positioning it above here. This is called UV overlapping. This is quite good in case that you wanted to have, for example, the exact same texture. If you're going to have this texture, whatever drawing is going to be here, exactly the same as the bottom ones, then you're going to have actually to place it. Otherwise, do not do that. Right now I'm going to just leave those two in case that you wanted to paint your own painting. Alright. Now, let me see here. These are going to be... Okay, let me just try to select the whole airplane. Hit F. sorry, let me hit F. Okay. These are gonna be solid color. This is gonna be applied to its solid colors. This is gonna be mapped as well, if in case you wanted to draw something on it. Okay, so I will grab these guys, and here is a small trick for you guys in case if you have it repetitive stuff. You see, this is a texture map. I don't need actually to texture map this as well. I could actually copy the UV layout from here to there, and let's see how this is going to happen. First of all, I'm going to grab as well the faces here, except for the sides. Let me go inside and make sure that I didn't grab anything unwanted. Alright, and I'm going to make a planar mapping. And it's going to be on the y-axis, since these faces are facing the y-axis. I'm going to hit the project, and I'm going to grab my not the hypershade, let me push this to the other monitor, edit UVs, no, UV texture editor, and here's my wing. So let me just stretch this out. Let me try to no, hold on a second, let me try first to call this to UVs and hit W and move it out, away. And let me grab this object. I'll grab my texture, the debugging texture, and I'm gonna call this assign to material. Okay, now this is, wow, cool. In fact, it's almost square, if not exactly square. Let me see, to shell. Well, yeah, okay, that's good. Now I can actually scale it even down. As you can see, I can scale this as well, this down. By the way, sometimes for some people who has some weak or kind of not I mean, how can I say, modern video card built in, let's say, they could suffer actually from viewing textures live like this. So I really feel bad for them, because there's no other solution than rendering and testing it. So so this is okay, this is good. Now this is already mapped out correctly. Now let's see, I will grab this to shell and minimize it as much as possible, and just push it somewhere there, because anyway I'm going to select these faces and I'm going to assign to them their own material. So I'm going to just push this up, and in case you wanted your own drawing, you can just, I'm going to just grab one of those faces. I'm going to go here and say to UV, control click, by the way, control click again to shell, and I'm going to push this downwards. So in case you wanted to draw something on the bottom or something on the top separately, so you have this ability. Okay, that's nice. Now we got a small thing here. Let me first file, save as let it be version 9 for now. Okay, let me keep this clean, 9. Alright, let me see. You have, right now we have to transfer UVs, so we have to transfer our UVs. So let me see, I believe there was something, an option like transfer, edit, probably it was in the, let me first see in the UVs. Okay, edit UVs, normalize, flip, rotate, map UV border, relax, and fold. You see, this is unfold already option. Cut UV edges, move and sew. There was actually somewhere in the it was somewhere in the transfer, yes, transfer attribute values. When I do this, I believe it should actually do the UV mapping. Let me see. Oh no, it didn't. Let me just undo this. Try to find the option. All right. Select this one. Shift select this one. Probably in the transfer attributes. Now let me see here. All UV sets and everything, and I would love to get the UVs only. And let me component and see what's gonna happen. So apply. So attributes are already transferred. Let's see what's happened with my UV textures. Oh, in fact it's transferred, so great, so it worked out. Actually in Maya 2010 and earlier they already have changed it, so somehow I was a little bit lost. So if I select this one, apply it, it just works fine, you see. Okay, great, we got this. Now this piece and that piece are gonna, and even this piece are gonna have solid colors. So these guys, all of those are gonna have actually solid colors, including these ones and these ones as well. Gonna have solid colors. Alright, so just to make the thing simple here and just take out, I mean, not to make not to overload Maya with a lot of memory or OpenGL reset settings and close. Now let me just try to do Lambert. I'm gonna call this rename this to temp solid color, and in fact I'm gonna double click on the Lambert, so double click on the Lambert itself, and I'm gonna choose the color here. So let me minimize this. I'm gonna choose, let's say, some sort of a little bit kind of whatever color. I mean, who cares? I don't want something that really stands out. I want something that differentiates it from the rest. And I'm gonna grab those two. Grab every one of those. So I want to be just I don't want to actually make any kind of texture mapping. Oops. Texture mapping for those guys. Q. And I'm gonna show you as well a trick here about these applying certain colors to certain faces. You're gonna see in a second. So let's hope that everything's gonna be working fine. I'm gonna apply that color, so done. Let me go to the hyper shade and right click, assign material to selection. So these guys are gonna be solid color. Okay, so I just don't want to make a mistake and then grab them and try to texture map them while I don't need. Alright, so this little guy, we're gonna have a planar mapping for him as well. So right click and that's it. I'm gonna control click these ones and control click these ones as well. Let's see, do not grab anything which I don't need. Okay, great. Now I will go here, collapse this one, edit UVs, sorry, create UVs, planar mapping, and this one lies exactly on the, hold on a second, on the x-axis, I believe. So the projection, let me see, project, yes, it was correct, x-axis. Now I'll grab my UV texture editor, and as you can see I got this thing going on, so in case I would love to paint on it, so I'm gonna grab this, oh sorry, UVs, control to shell, W, and move this. In fact, I have to you know, to slap on my debugging texture here, so I'm gonna put assign material to selection so I can see what I'm doing here. I'm gonna grab right click UVs, control click into shell, and then try to make a square out of it. So is it squares to you? Now it is. Now I'm gonna grab this and scale it down, move this to here, but before I do so, control click to shell and minimize this. I believe there's somewhere here. Oh, here is it. Minimize this. Just put them above each other, I don't care. Just move them somewhere here. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna just only use this. I'm gonna maximize this as much as possible so you can put a high res texture if you want to. I'm gonna grab one of those faces, to UVs, to shell. If you want to, we can, like, let me see, rotate this I mean, it doesn't matter the direction, by the way. I mean, the main thing that you paint it correctly in Photoshop, and that's it. To UVs, to shell. I'm gonna just make some space here. Grab this one, to UVs, and I'm gonna move this a little bit here. Alright, so I fit them in all. Okay, now for this little guy we have actually to make the same thing, so I'm gonna grab, click, double click, and control click these pieces. Again, I don't want to really map everything out, and then later on we're gonna actually transfer. Oh boy, let me try to find out where am I here exactly. Okay, now this somewhere inside. There we go. Control click this one and control click this one. Okay, now I got this, both of them. Now I'm gonna go and create UVs, planar mapping, and this points to Y direction. You see, it just points to Y. Project. We got the projection. I will just to UVs, W, and move this out. Again, I will just select this thing, go to my hyper shade, select this guy, go to my debugging, right click, assign material to selection. Almost square. Hold on. Let me see here. And right click to hold on. UVs. Now control click to shell. Minimize this like so. Oops. Apparently I got some unwanted pieces here probably. Oh no. Apparently those guys haven't been with them all along, but we'll see. Let me scale this down a little bit. Right now we'll probably have to sew edges, so let me just scale this down. Push this right there, I don't need it. Take this, put it there. Now the best practice is, of course, let me just to UVs, to shell, move this guy to UVs, shell. Okay, it works out for some certain reason. Okay, to UVs, control click to UV and W and try to move this thing here. Now I have right now to start fit them in all together. I'm just trying, you know, to make sure that in case that you wanted to draw something and want everything, you have the opportunity to do so. So, oh my, let me try to shell here, to shell, and to shell, W, move this as, try to put them somewhere around like this. And they have to have the same squares, by the way. Do not just scale down one and leave one. The squares has to be exactly the same size. Okay, so the square here should be the same size as this one. Alright, so you will not have awkward results later. Now I'm gonna grab this, edit mesh or mesh transfer attributes. I'm gonna use components and everything and hit apply. Now if I select this piece, oops, probably I forgot to select this one, shift select this one, this, even, you know what, let's see it live happening. So I'm gonna apply debugging to this one. You see it looks awkward, so click this one, shift select this one, and transfer the transfer attributes component, all transfer. Now I see it just transferred it and it mapped it correctly. Oh, this one is going to be as well as solid color, definitely. Solid color. So here we go. It was off the recording screen, but you know what to do. Close this. Now, this is actually my airplane, Control S. This is my airplane. Next lesson, I'm gonna apply solid colors to these, and then prepare everything to be exported in OpenGL. So see you in the next lesson.